What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a Phantom Knights deck profile. Yeah, Phantom Knights is a deck I've built in the past. In fact, my channel used to be known for it back in the day. Any of you very long time viewers will know that, yeah, Phantom Knights are a long time favorite deck of mine, and I'm super excited to bring another deck profile for it. And this deck's definitely gone through some changes. Like, there's just so many different routes you can take with this deck, and ever since the release of Torn Scales and Phantom Rage, like, this deck has been honestly so good. You see it top every now and then in Extravaganza. It's been like a very strong tier 2 deck, maybe like even a little better. Like, it just has really good results, and it's a super fun deck with a bunch of different combos. And I'm gonna run through the main deck, run through the extra deck, and then as well go through my side deck, and then at the end of all of that I will show a test hand and part of a combo for it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm gonna make an entire separate combo video for this deck though, because it can do so much in so many different ways, so I want to have a dedicated video for the combos. Anyway, before we get into the deck profile, links for our Discord down below. We've been having a really good time on our Discord. The community's been growing, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. So if you want to check that out, link down below. And without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so to start off, we have our 3 Torn Scales, definitely like the best starter in the deck. He just does so much for it, being able to discard a card for cost and then send a Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard. This can put like traps in grave, which help you play around Nibiru a little bit, and just help you extend further. But his like best effect, in my opinion, is the fact that when a Phantom Knight is banished from your graveyard, he can special summon himself out from graveyard, which is just free extender and just definitely one of the cards you want to get in grave as fast as possible. To follow him up, we have 3 Boots. This is another one of the best ones just because it is a free extender. If you control a Phantom Knights monster, you just special summon it from your hand, and then you can banish it to add a trap, which is very important. Well, Phantom Knight spell or trap, but we're only running traps. So yeah, Boots and Cloak, or not Cloak, Torn Scales are the only ones we play at 3, and then we are playing 2 Ancient Cloak. This one's really good, but he's just a normal summon, and like, yeah, Torn Scales is also a normal summon, but he extends by discarding a card. You don't want to maximize on the normal summons that don't really get you anywhere. Of course, I do play 2 Cloak for, you know, grind games, and of course, he is one of the better just normal summons to see. Like, if you open him in Boots, it's just like really good. So yeah, we are going to play 2 Cloak. And then we play 1 Gloves and 1 Stained Greaves. So these are the one-ofs. Glove is really good because he's essentially like a Phantom Knight wild card. He can be any of the effects you need at any given time. You just banish him to dump any Phantom Knight card, and that's really good. So we do play 1 of him. He's again just free. And then Stained Greaves, not everyone plays him, but I think he's really, really good. If like you opened Boots as like one of your starter extenders, like if you Boots in your first like opening play to make Cherubini, essentially, like say you open Cloak and Boots, then you want Cloak to be able to search Stained Greaves so that you can special out your Torn Scales, and then you can just special Stained Greaves, and it's still like an extender. It's like an additional Boots in that sense. His effect to special summon from hand doesn't come up all that often, but it is there. The fact that he can make himself level 4 is also interesting because we are running Shade Brigandine, so there's some rank 4 plays there, and while that also doesn't come up too often, he has a bunch of like utility effects that you need to remember are there because they can come up. And yeah, that rounds up the Phantom Knights. It is a whole 10 of them. But then we have the Honorary Phantom Knight, 3 Kagamucha Knight. And yeah, this is just a level 3 extender. When a level 3 monster is normal summon, you can special summon him from your hand. He's just a Dark Warrior, so you know he has synergy with like Rhoda. And yeah, you're just going to maximize on this card because he is an extender. And the reason we maximize on him is because we are also playing the Tour Guide package. This is pretty standard now. You like in a lot of pure builds you don't play this because you're not running the Burning Abyss, but when you are, Tour Guide is just an amazing card, and yeah, she's just like one of your best starters for sure. And Kagamucha Knight and her are great together because you essentially save her from cards like Ash Blossom or Gamma when you have Kagamucha Knight. And if you're going second, you can save it like from regular Omni Negates like Borload Savage. So Kagamucha Knight helping Tour Guide, you know, just resolve and or just have 2 level 3 extenders if you get Veiled or Impermed. Super, super good. And then if Tour Guide resolves, your deck is going absolutely off the walls because you're going to get like Graph and then Summon Seer, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. But Tour Guide, just one of the best starters, and yeah, I maximize her just to see her in my opening hand. And then for the Burning Abyss package or the Tour Guide targets, we have 1 Graph and 1 Seer. So I've been tinkering around with a Libic, but Honestly, this is all you need, and I'm already at 41 cards in the deck, which I wanted to be as close to 40 as possible to maximize opening like Tour Guide Kagamucha Knight or Torn Scales, and like Power 1-ofs like Called by the Grave. But yeah, these two are mandatory if you're going to play the Burning Abyss package, because this is essentially how you extend from Cherubini into Bardiche and get Cherubini back on the field, which makes like easier Appaloosas. These just help you extend much, much further, and they're a very good package to play. And if you happen to draw them, there's a lot of times you can use Torn Scales to still like pitch them and get their effects, but when they're at their worst, they're still level 3 extenders. When you control Cherubini, you just special summon them to his zone, and they're safe. Then we have some level 3 extenders. We have Tsuchinoko and Jackalope. So these are level 3 dark extenders that can draw you cards. There's almost zero reasons not to play these. Yeah, I've seen builds like not run them. I guess if you're going to choose not to run them, you play like flex spots over them, like some more hand traps or other cards you'd like to play, like more go second cards. But I do think these cards are just very, very powerful and have a lot of synergy in the deck. Because, yeah, they net you free cards. They can discard Phantom Knight cards. Again, they're level 3 Dark Extenders, so it doesn't get much better than that. Then, for more level 3 extenders, we have one Wielder and one Tracker. We are playing the Emergency Teleport package, so kind of go along with this. I'm deciding to play one Ghost Ogre. You definitely don't have to play this, and she's technically my 41st card, but I don't mind having 3 E-Tele targets, and you know, when you're running Ghost Ogre, there's like the nifty play where you can set Emergency Teleport and then use it kind of as an interrupt on your opponent's turn. That almost never happens, but it is there. And it does mean we are running one hand trap. These are the last monsters in the deck. I took this to locals last weekend, and I actually had Ghost Ogre be a starter in a couple of games. Like, I had to normal summon her and special Kagamucha Knight and then go into plays, and I also had Tracker. So yeah, the fact that like Ghost Girls are generically pretty good in this deck because they are level 3, so if you are going to play hand traps, you know, the Ghost Girls are definitely the way to go in this deck. And then on to spells, I'm actually maining 3 Twin Twister. I just think this card is really, really good this format. The fact that it can pitch Phantom Knights is also great, but with like Prank Kids being such a good deck, like hitting Pandemonium and Standby Phase is amazing. The Floodgates, Rivalry, and Gozen are coming into the format hard, and while Gozen Match doesn't really affect you, Rivalry is kind of annoying. So yeah, Twin Twister, definitely good for cards like those. It can hit Revolt preemptively. You can hit a lot of good cards with this, so definitely Twin Twister is something I've enjoyed in the main, and you know, pitching Phantom Knights is great. If you want to play Droplets, this is kind of what I'm playing over Droplets. I currently do not own Droplets, so that is one reason to play Twin Twister. But if you have Droplets, you can definitely take out the Twin Twister slot for him, although I do feel like Twin Twister is a really good card in this deck. And also saves up some side deck room. On to some Power 1-ofs, we have the obligatory Rhoda, the Foolish Burial, the beautiful Ulti First Teleport to summon our Psychics, and then one Monster Reborn. These are just very powerful 1-ofs that either extend or, well, I guess mostly they're extenders, but Reborn can be like a follow-up play in general. But yeah, these are just very powerful 1-ofs that can help you play through Interruption or get you even further than you would expect. And then we are maining 2 Triple Tactics talents and the 1 Called by the Grave. Almost like 3 Called by, but of course it's not really. Yeah, Tactics, I mean, you're a combo deck, so you're bound to get interrupted by some hand trap, and then you can Tactics, look at their hand, and hopefully take their Nibiru away, because Nibiru can be really annoying for this deck if it's played correctly. But yeah, Tactics is a super powerful card going first or second, and called by one of the most flexible cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So that wraps up the spell lineup. Then we have 3 Fogblade to start off our traps. I mean, this is self-explanatory. You're probably playing 3 of this in every Phantom Knights list. It is a Fiendish Chain that gives you follow-up, and that is super, super good, especially since you can search like 2 to 3 of them on your first turn. And then the 1 Wings as an additional trap to be able to banish and special summon as an extender. And then the 1 Brigandine that can be used as an extender or to make like rank 4s. Well, it's always going to be used as an extender, I guess, but you can do several different things with it, like make Appaloosa or make rank 4s, or it can be a dark for Bardiche. So those are the 5 Phantom Knight traps. And then for the last 3 cards, you hate to see it, but this is pretty much how Phantom Knights have to be played right now. It is the awful Dragoon package that I despise more than anything else. Honestly, I want Dragoon to be banned just so I can play this deck without Dark Dragoon, but if you choose not to run Dragoon right now, you're just like actually running less good Phantom Knights. And that's my least favorite thing about this deck, is that I feel forced to run Dragoon. I hate the card. I don't even like summoning it. I've been tinkering around with builds that don't play this, so if you want to see one of those, feel free to leave that in the comments. But yeah, if you have access to Dragoon, you might as well play the package. He is obscenely overpowered, and yeah. So that wraps up the main deck. On to the extra deck. We have the one Cherubini. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's rank 3 turbo, and you just want to dump either your Burning Abyss or your Phantom Knight cards. The one Bardiche, it's like your main play, and such good follow-up in this deck. The one Unicorn, yeah, just a really good utility card when you're link climbing, because you can summon a lot of monsters. One Appaloosa. This is pretty much like one of your main first turn plays with the Phantom Knights. I've actually seen a couple builds not run this, and I think it's a little weird in my opinion, because Appaloosa is so good in this deck, especially since you can bring Cherubini back for free. I would always play this, and yeah, you just end your board with like a 3 or 4 negate Appaloosa. And that kind of wraps up my links. I'm not playing access code. All the times I've played this deck, I've never actually wanted to summon it, and I was borrowing my friends to play it, and every time I borrowed it, I just never even summoned it. So I was just fitting other things in my extra deck that I want to play right now. And going on to Xyz, one Bamboozling. Yeah, this card is a definite stay for me, because this thing lets you play through Nibiru quite easily. If you open up 2 additional rank 3 extenders, or level 3 extenders, you just make Bamboozling first, and you're pretty much safe from Nibiru, and by the end of it, you either make Verte with him, or you make Appaloosa. One Levier. I was playing 2 of this, but I just wanted to fit more utility cards in my extra deck, so I had to cut it down to 1. We are not playing F-Zero in this deck, so there's no real need for 2 Levier, but I am going to miss all the follow-up you gain off of this card. 2 Breaksword. I think you have to play 2 of this, because sometimes you can use 1 on your first turn combo if you really want to. There's not many reasons to do that in this version of the deck, but yeah, I've just always wanted 2 Breaksword for like the grind games essentially. And that's it for the rank 3 Xyzes, surprisingly. Thought I ran more than that, but looking at it, I guess we don't. Then we have the rank 4s. We have Time Thief Redoer. So this is a card I recently added in. With like Stained Greaves and Brigandine, you can make this turn 1, and this card is such a good like rank 4 Xyz. With Brigandine, it's an automatic interrupt that can really be super good because it doesn't target, and he can banish himself to like make your grind game even better. He can steal things off the top of your opponent's deck, which, you know, if you steal like a Dark Magician or a Red Eyes Fusion, you just feel so good because you take the Dragoon package out of their deck. You can take key combo pieces like Colt Wing, for example. I know Infernoble's not being played right now, but cards like Colt Wing essentially. Or just take spells and draw cards. So Redoer is super, super good. Then we are playing the Raiders Knight and the Ark Rebellion package, which this might be one of the reasons I wasn't making access code very often, because I've just been swinging for game with this. And then we have the Downerd and the Zeus. I feel like I wasn't running Downerd originally, and that was instantly wrong. I added Downerd straight into the extra deck after 1 day of playtesting the deck, after a while of putting the deck on hiatus, and yeah, Downerd and Zeus are so, so good. And then we have, of course, the worst package in the entire extra deck, Verte and Dragoon. If you really like Dragoon, then I'm sorry, I'm kind of raining on his parade, but I absolutely despise this card. I think it is the most unfair card. Well, okay, Mystic Mind's pretty bad too. There's a lot of unfair cards in the game, but I really don't like Dragoon. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. On to the side deck, which I actually have way over here. Unprepared I am. So with the side deck, we have the 3 Phantasme and the 3 Nibiru. I'm not maining really any hand traps besides 1 Ghost Ogre, so I do want to like maximize hand traps for Ghost Second, and I think Phantasme and Nibiru are kind of like the best ones. And yes, so these are very powerful Ghost Second cards, but also I'm not running any more hand traps, but Phantasme can do more than find hand traps, right? It can find like your other Ghost Second cards like Dark Ruler. So yeah, this is sort of just a really good Ghost Second package, and this is just what I played for my couple locals with this deck recently. You can definitely alter it for your locals and whatever suits your playstyle. 3 Dark Ruler, just one of the best Ghost Second cards. You can just use this and then make Zeus and clear their board. You have many ways you can clear your opponent's board, but yeah, Dark Ruler is super good to play going second. The 1 Red Reboot, we are maining the 3 Twin Twisters, so we're not siding that much backer removal, but Reboot is definitely one you want to be siding. And then for go first stuff, I have 3 sort of like no to spells. the 1 Imperial Order and the 2 Anti-Spell. Honestly, I think these cards have been falling off since Twin Twister has become like so much more prominent in the meta because of like Prank Kids, and the fact that these cards and Gozen and Rivalry are just really good right now. So you do have to be kind of careful with these cards, but yeah, if you're playing against a spell heavy deck like Drytron, you probably want to side him in anyways. And then 2 Gozen match. So yeah, this almost hurts your deck none, and when you go first and side this in against a deck where it really hurts them, you probably automatically win unless they have the out. So Gozen match, definitely a really powerful card. You can definitely side a 3rd if you can fit it. But yeah, I just had 2 for this list. So yeah, that was it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now I will be showing off a combo, so let's get into that, and hopefully I do not mess up and y'all can see sort of a really powerful 2-card combo for the deck. So let's get into it. Okay, so the combo I'm going to be showing is going to be the 2-card combo, which is Tour Guide Kagamucha Knight. This is my favorite combo in the deck, and I think the most powerful one. There's a bunch of different ways to do like really crazy boards, like you can open Torn Scales Kagamucha Knight, like even just Cloak Boots is really good. Any way to make Cherubini and put Phantom Knights in the grave is really, really powerful. But Tour Guide Kagamucha Knight is definitely one of my favorites, so we're going to have this 2-card combo. With 3 blanks. I wish they were tactics and called by, but we're just going to make them blanks. So yeah, let's get into it. So you're going to start by normal summoning your Tour Guide, activate Chain Link 1, and then special Kagamucha Knight as Chain Link 2, protecting her from Ash and Gamma. But if she's going to get Veiled or Impermed here, she's just going to get Veiled or Impermed here. And then we're going to special Graph, who isn't destroyed because it is negated by Tour Guide. And then we are going to link off our... not our Kagamucha Knight. We're going to link off our Tour Guide and our Graph, send them to the graveyard, which I don't know what my deck is missing, but my deck is missing. And normally I put the graveyard and deck over here. I'm just messing all up, and we'll put the extra deck over here. And we'll send Graph and Tour Guide to graveyard to summon the one, the only Cherubini, who is definitely the star of the deck. And then we're going to activate Graph, and we're going to special Seer to a zone that Cherubini points to so he doesn't kill himself. Then we'll activate Cherubini. A couple of different things you can send. You can dump either Torn Scales or like a PK you want to banish first. I'm going to send Cloak first, so that way, like, I mean, if we get stopped here somehow, at the very least we have a Cloak. And not Torn Scales, it's going to do nothing. And then we're going to link off our Cherubini and our Graph. And by Graph, I mean Seer, because Graph is in the graveyard. Then we're going to special summon Bardiche because we used Dark Monsters and got to link 3. And then Graph is going to activate, and we're going to special summon back Cherubini, which is just a free link 2 from Grave for running the Burning Abyss package, which is really, really nice. Then once we're here, we're going to activate Bardiche, and we're going to move our flex spots down here. We're going to set a Fogblade, and we're going to dump a Torn Scales to our graveyard. And what this has done is we have put Cloak and Torn Scales in the graveyard while getting a free Fogblade. And then we are going to banish the Cloak, and we'll put our banish over here, to go and search Boots from our deck to our hand. So now we have Boots in hand. And then Torn Scale is going to activate and special summon itself. So at this point, you can actually go ahead and like discard a blank, which will be a tactics here. If it's like a Phantom Knight card, then you just have like really good, like you just opened really well. But now you can dump like a trap. I'm gonna go dump Wings, which I didn't pull out of my deck earlier. And yeah, that can be an extender later. I don't know if I'm gonna use it for this combo, but yeah. And then we are going to overlay these for our Levier. And Levier is super good because by going for an Xyz summon, not only will Torn Scales not get banished, but you get your follow-up back in the form of Ancient Cloak to your field, which will go to grave. You're going to special summon in attack mode so that you can use his effect to target Bardiche and give it 800 attack till the end of your opponent's turn. And then a couple of things you can do here. So you can go for like Verte or Appaloosa, but obviously we're going to want to special summon Boots. I mean, we always have Bardiche, so we can always special summon Boots, but I'm just going to choose to special summon Boots now. But you don't have to, because you can also go straight up for Appaloosa here and then play around Nibiru, but they're going to Nibiru you here if they're going to Nibiru anywheres. So, we can either play around Nibiru or we cannot. Let's just play around it, I guess, and make a 3-negate Appaloosa. So now, in theory, we are safe from Appaloosa, or safe from a Nibiru. And we have a 3 negate Appaloosa and a Fog Blade. I guess I shouldn't have put Fog Blade here because if they're playing Mech Knights, I guess they just get us now. But yeah. Now we'll special summon our boots. And we will use that wing we sent earlier to special summon, I guess, Cloak. It doesn't really matter. These are just going to end up being Verte Anaconda because, you know, he's just our favorite card. Definitely my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card for sure. And then you're going to pay 2k, and you're going to dump this horrendous package to the graveyard and summon just like the most powerful monster in the game. So that's pretty good. And then you're going to banish your boots from your graveyard. And you're going to search a Fog Blade. So then you can set your Fog Blade. And what you end up with is 2 Fog Blades, which is pretty good because even if they Dark Ruler your board, you still have 2 Fog Blades, which is amazing. 3 negate Appaloosa, a Bardiche that is just always going to be follow-up. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon with 2 cards in hand, which could be really good flexes. Like if you actually drew the Called by the Grave, which is somewhere, then you can like set it, but yeah, just 1 card at least in hand for Dragoon. And then in your grave you have a Cloak, a Torn Scales, which is just a lot of follow-up. So yeah, that is what this deck can do turn 1. That is just the very, very basic Tour Guide plus Kagamucha Knight combo. You can actually go a bunch of different ways, and based on your extra deck you can do different things. Like if I have Stained Greaves or a way to get to Stained Greaves, then I can actually search like Brigandine with boots instead of the Fog Blade. Then I can set Brigandine, special summon it, special summon out the Stained Greaves, and then make a Time Thief Redoer with this board. So it just depends what you have, but this is about as basic as it gets, and it's a very, very powerful board filled with so much follow-up, and that's the truly strong thing about it. Like, the fact that you have a bunch of negates here isn't even the best thing about it. It's the fact that you have so much follow-up even if they use all their resources to clear it, and I think that's the real strength behind Phantom Knights. So yeah, that is it for the combo. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you do like Phantom Knights content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.